welcome into Carnesecca Arena here on the campus of St. John's. We've got a Big East battle for you. Villanova Wildcats coming in at 7-6, taking on St. John's at 10-4. St. John's comes into this game 3-0 in Big East play, 6-0 at home. That is their best start since head coach Joe Tartamella's first season here at St. John's. That was 7 years ago. I'm John Trippin, joined by my partner, Julianne Vianney. Julianne, this is a matchup of styles. Which one do you like to win in this one?
Ooh, I think that's a tough one because it is hard to play Villanova on one day of preparation. That's something Joe Tartamella said to both of us prior to this matchup, because they run a ton of sets and he likes to really push the tempo and play that fast-paced basketball. So an athletic team wants to push the pace, and then Harry Peretta, who's 42 years in the business, has done it a certain way for so many years, a very disciplined group he's got. But I think the better team is St. John's, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they've got more athleticism and a little more talent, but it is, like I said, hard to play Villanova on one day of prep. Yeah,
Joe Tartamella, head coach of St. John's, told us not many of his players have faced this style before, and the tip is up, and St. John's gets possession. We are off the 68th all-time meeting between the two squads. St. John's in the home white. Hoppy with the crossover. Going to work on Segrist and misses the layup. Here's Villanova in their very slow, deliberate style. They want to milk the shot clock unless Maddie Segrist gets a good look. And a traveling on Cameron Onken, first turnover of the game.
Yeah, I would expect to see a lot of double teams on Maddie Segrist. Her and Mary Gadeka are the two main squeezes for the Wildcats. Nobody else is even close to double figures once you go to that third and fourth player in the starting lineup.
Here's St. John's using that speed and getting to the bucket is Tiana England for the first basket of the game.
There isn't a player on the floor for Joe Tartamella that can't take you off the bounce. That is their squeeze. They're so quick off the dribble.
There's Raven James. Kick out for three. Onken, no good. Rebound goes to Alyssa Alston. St. John's wasting no time. England to the bucket again with the left. Gets her own rebound. That's Hoppy for three. Count it. St. John's 5-0 early on here.
And that is certainly good patience by the Red Storm, getting the shot they want and the player that they want to shoot the basketball. And Hoppy has gotten so much better from distance this season. The last two seasons, really, you've seen improvement over that perimeter shot.
There's there's Segrist for three. She's got the answer.
Now, one thing Joe did tell us was we cannot allow Segrist or Gadeka to dominate, quote dominate, because that's what they do in some of the games that they won. Those two have been able to get off, and you can't allow it.
Hoppy gets into the lane, pull up, no good. Gets her own rebound, puts it back up, no! And then Villanova predictably wants to slow things down.
Yeah, if they keep it in the half-court setting, it favors Villanova. They want to run the shot clock down to 10 seconds and then take a good shot at the end of the clock.
There's Mary Gadeka. She thought about it. Herlihy for three, count it!
That couldn't have been a better possession for Villanova.
Villanova now takes their first lead of the game. They go up 6-5, and this game is definitely playing into Villanova's hands early on. That's Alston with the pull-up. Segrist with another board. That's three already rebounds for Maddie Segrist. She brings it up. She can shoot. She can rebound. What can't she do?
Yeah, she averages 8 boards a game, and she's one of the top scorers in the Big East, if not the top scorer right now.
There she's opened another three. Rebound goes to England. Nobody stops her, so she takes it in and will draw the foul. First foul on Raven James. Let's take a look at this one.
The penetration game, that is what St. John's wants to do. And England with a nice penetration here. You've got to be able to move your feet laterally against a team like St. John's and not get in foul trouble. That's something Harry Peretta told us before the game he's a little worried about.
England makes the first. She is 77% free throw shooter on the year. For those of you watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming coverage will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us. All right, welcome in of those of you who have been watching ECU versus UCF. This is Villanova St. John's here at Carnesecca Arena. St. John's with an early 7-6 lead. And that's Segrist with a rebound for Villanova. The three is no good, and St. John's will corral the board. But
if St. John's is allowing other people to shoot, other than Maddie and Mary, they're in good shape.
And Tiana England gets into the paint again. She's got 6 points, and she's creating a lot of havoc for this Villanova D.
She's quick off the bounce, and right now, Villanova is struggling to move laterally with the St. John's guards. Typically in the past, Villanova's been very good on that end of the floor, and they've got good guard play, but struggling here defensively.
Villanova's got 2 threes to start the game. Here they pull another, back iron no good. And that's the freshman sensation, Leilani Correa, into the game for the first time.
St. John's is leaving Raven James wide open. She's gonna have a shot every time down.
And England again, they cannot stop the penetration. She has got 6 points already.
She is so tough to take out of the game when she's playing well.
She has 8 points, so far here in this first quarter.
But she's one of those players that had to score more last year. She doesn't have to as much this year, and it's really played well into her style of play. She hasn't had to force things.
Hideka will try another three. James has been all over the boards for Villanova. And Segrist will draw the foul. All right, for those of you watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming coverage will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us by going to CBSSportsNetwork.com/channel finder. Welcome back here to Queens, New York, as St. John's currently leads Villanova 11-6. Welcome into Carnesecca Arena. I'm joined by my partner, Julianne Vianney, former standout at Marist, and a MAC Hall of Famer. Welcome, I am John Striffen. Now, Julianne, this is a game of contrasting styles, really.
It really is. You've got St. John's that wants to play up-tempo, take you off the bounce basketball, and then you've got Villanova who wants to play deliberate, half-court, slow you down type of basketball. So it really is going to come down to which team can force the other team to do what they don't want to do.
Now, early on, we've seen Villanova just shoot threes. They've only taken field goals from beyond the arc, and it is Tiana England who has just taken over this game at the point for St. John's.
This is what Harry Peretta of Villanova is worried about. I mean, players like Tiana England who can take you off the bounce at will. This is running the floor in transition, a little shake and bake action from England. Makes plays when you need them. This is one of those players that can take over a game, and I said it earlier, but last year she had to score a lot more points individually. This year she's got more help offensively, and so she pushes the pace. She doesn't have to do too much. Very good at reading the game and what it needs. 8 points in just 5 minutes already. They've got to figure out an answer for her as Mary Hideka gets through. Rims out, and they're going to say a loose ball foul over the back. Foul is on Cameron Onken. That is her first, second on the team. I have to say, Villanova is crashing the glass. They are looking to get offensive rebounds, and right now they're in a 2-3 zone, which we knew we might see a little zone in this one between two teams that have not always shot it well. They've been a little erratic at times. That's the freshman sensation, Leilani Correa, at the top of the point for St. John's. This is a smart move. Pass, and that one is almost intercepted. And a smart move, John, from Harry Peretta, because they can't handle St. John's off the bounce here, so force them to beat you from the perimeter.
You know, it's interesting, Harry Peretta, who is in his 42nd season here at Villanova, he is retiring after the season. He told us that against Seton Hall in their win on Friday, he played the most zone he has played all season, and now we're seeing it carry over.
And they were successful with it because Seton Hall couldn't make shots.
5 on the shot clock, and they sent freshman sensation Correa for 3.
It doesn't work if you do that.
St. John's is on a 9-0 run right now. Can Villanova find the answer? Gideyka looking for some help up top. A lot of dribbling by Villanova.
Yeah, not enough passing or ball movement.
Tried to get to Seagrist, but it is picked off. Second turnover, and here comes St. John's. Correa, no.
They want to isolate Maddie Seagrist, but there's 2 players on her pretty much at all times when she catches it in the paint.
James, the typical point guard for Villanova. But there's the steal. Correa all alone, and she finishes.
Correa really is like having another starter out there. She is their 6th woman, but boy, she is one of the best freshmen in the league.
And a timeout on the floor. St. John's with an 11-0 run.
And you have to love the way St. John's is moving the basketball, getting open shots, and they are knocking them down. How about that for the freshman? Correa on offense, Correa on defense, leading to the offense, and St. John's up here big.
Welcome back here to St. John's as the Red Storm with a huge 16-6 lead. Now, interestingly enough, Villanova had the early lead and they were playing their style. St. John's started 2 of 7 from the floor, but since they are 4 of 5, they've really got it going.
And now you see St. John's in their full court press, hoping to wear Villanova down. Villanova doesn't play a ton of players, and Joe Tartamella's whole style of this team is to wear teams down. He's got more depth than he's ever had his entire coaching career this season.
That's Brooke Mullen into the game for Villanova. That's also Sam Karanji handling the ball. Villanova has not scored in 350 on the clock so far. There's a 3. Got it! Off the bench, Karanji comes firing.
They're going to need more of that, John. I mean, they have to have players other than the big 2 scoring. And if Karanji can knock that down, they can stay in it.
England pulls on her own, and that's Gideyka with the rebound. Now, is that what Villanova wants, to force them to shoot deep 3s with that zone?
Absolutely. Make them beat you from the perimeter, although the Red Storm can knock them down if you leave them wide open. But they'd rather take you off the bounce.
James gets to the bucket and finishes.
That's something Raven James needs to do. She has that point guard mentality and that ability to take you off the bounce. Not the greatest shooter from the perimeter.
Nice little hesitation move. He's kind of lulled the defender to sleep and then with the blow by. Hoppy saves it from going out. 10 on the shot clock for St. John's. Hoppy, she'll pull from 3. Yes.
So smooth.
That's 6 points for Hoppy, and they might even shoot Villanova out of the zone. Gideyka gets through and blows the layup.
Now, layup she doesn't typically miss either. Shots are hard to come by. You've got to make the ones you get.
Oh, Hoppy. If she could have finished that playoff, she really created some space with that jab step.
She's fun to watch.
Karanji, she wants the ISO.
St. John's double teaming.
She is stuck.
They're so long, John, so athletic.
6 on the shot clock. Gideyka with her back to the basket. And another strong defensive possession for St. John's as Nolan has the rebound.
Their heads are on a swivel. They're moving. They've got hands out.
England surveys the scene, tries to break down the zone. Found the soft spot, but Nolan couldn't knock down the free throw jumper.
And that's the right place to attack it.
An errant pass by James. That is the 4th turnover by Villanova so far in this first quarter. There's Harry Peretta, the man of the hour in his 42nd season here at Nova. He is retiring after this season. Joe Tartamella, he enters his 8th season for St. John's. Comes in here 10-4, 3-0 in Big East play.
One coach who's been around forever, and then Joe Tartamella, who has really done good things with this program. He was assistant coach, and then he got the head coaching job.
St. John's playing great basketball. No turnovers yet. That's Correa off back iron. Gardner knocks down the 3 off the bench. Now, Peretta trying to find some answers, and now some of his bench players are really stepping up. End of the quarter, no good. That's the end of the first quarter with the score 19-14. St. John's on top. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T.
That was before the game. St. John's presenting Villanova head coach Harry Peretta with a token of their appreciation. This is his farewell tour after 42 seasons here at Villanova. This is his last year as head coach.
He's getting gifts from teams everywhere he goes. This is his last time here in New York. And how about this for a fun little tidbit? This is how long Harry Peretta has been coaching. You've got to give him a lot of credit. Jimmy Carter was president. A gallon of milk. Does anyone know what a gallon of milk costs now at this point? I don't even drink milk.
I don't know. I drink almond milk, so I couldn't tell you that.
Oh, man.
He got the job when he was 22 years old. Now, interestingly, he said on this farewell tour, his favorite gift he's received so far, chicken wings from his former player, Denise Dillon, who's the head coach at Drexel, gave him some chicken wings, and he really appreciated that.
She knew the spot. I think it's in Philly somewhere.
At 30th Street Station.
Look at that. Yep. Look at that. Yeah, that is his favorite food. Yeah, but he has been quite the pioneer in women's basketball his entire life. He's coached.
Segrist from downtown. That looked like it was off Villanova, so St. John's will get the ball. You know, he's had to do a lot of coaching early on and make a lot of adjustments because of what St. John's is giving him.
Absolutely, and like he told us before the game, it's not easy to play a team like St. John's because of how up-tempo they are. And he said, we don't have enough scorers this year. So if we can't get some other players involved, it might be too easy to stop us.
Also goes baseline, is blocked. And Gadeka looks to push the pace for Villanova. Segrist with the left and loses it. And then she will be called for the foul on KB.
Yeah, it's been hard for Maddie Segrist right now. She has been terrific all season long, proving to be one of the best freshmen in the league, averaging 20-plus points a game. Teams are all over her. They're double teaming her, and when you get into Big East play, it becomes more difficult because teams know you better, personnel-wise. They know you better. They're scouting you. They're seeing you a lot more. It's going to be harder.
That was the first foul on Maddie Segrist. KB from downtown. And Segrist pulls down another rebound. That is her 7th rebound already.
A one-and-done quick shot from the perimeter plays right into their hands.
Villanova is going to use the shot clock. It looks to go back door, but it is deflected. And here comes St. John's. Correa. They're going to say it's off her foot. Turnover to Villanova.
Against St. John's, you've got to know how to use pass fakes and shot fakes because St. John's is getting in passing lanes. They're getting tips and deflections every time down the floor. You can't telegraph your passes against a team like that.
Peretta still trying to tweak and find the right lineup against this very quick, very athletic St. John's team. That's Gardner with the ball. Now, we'll find Segrist from the wing.
A good movement and a skip pass. That's what you have to do. Move the basketball. The defense is shifting. You'll get a good shot.
Hoppy with a quick shot of her own. Yeah, there's the answer.
They've got so much offense.
Hoppy's got 8 points early on. St. John's with a 21-17 lead. Karangi is stuck. Segrist bails her out, and there's another turnover for Villanova. Quick shot by Alston.
And a lot of it's because they're forcing passes into Maddie Segrist. That's what you get sometimes when you're trying to get your best player the ball. Players start to force it when it's not there, and then you turn it over.
And then Harry Peretta was not happy with Maddie Segrist. Told her just to shoot the ball. She was trying to pass it there, and if she had just taken that shot, would have avoided that turnover there. Bridget Herlihy brings it up for Villanova. Gedeka with a good shot. Typically, they like to use a little more shot clock.
They do. But if she gets an opening, she has to take it.
Tiana England was so hot in that first quarter, has cooled down a little bit.
Since the zone.
Since the zone, exactly.
That's slowed her down.
Hoppy eye to 3. Now gets in with the nice pass.
See, that's exactly what the Red Storm have that Villanova doesn't. Somebody who can take you off the dribble, draw to, and kick.
Alicia Caby on the receiving end of that pretty dime by Hoppy.
I love seeing teams attack a zone like it's man-to-man. You can attack a zone. Don't get stuck on the perimeter just taking shots. See, this is a terrific job attacking, drawing to, and then pitching to one of your primetime players down low. And that's just Hoppy again in the right spot. KB.
How about the no look? I didn't even catch that originally. That was pretty.
A little mustard.
There's another dime. Gedeka on the other end will finish. What a pass by Sam Karangi.
Tell you what, when Villanova is moving, they're not moving as much as I'm used to seeing them move without the ball. They're hard to stay with when they're constantly moving.
They were overplaying Hoppy's right hand. They wanted her to go left. 5 seconds on the shot clock. And a turnover, their third so far. Here comes Villanova. Gedeka with an errant cross-court pass. And that's going to lead to the foul.
And Villanova here with good ball movement. This is where several people touching the basketball, a little backdoor cut. If you're being overplayed, that's exactly what you need to do. And you have to have your eyes on the ball and your man that time. Gedeka lost.
Gedeka's such a tough player to defend because she can shoot from outside, but she's so good at moving away from the ball.
She loses her defenders when she's able to do that.
Hoppy from downtown, in and out. And that's Segrist with another rebound. And here's Gedeka. She just seems to break out. Goes strong and it's blocked.
Terrific defense there by England.
Hoppy one-on-one. No.
England undersized on Gedeka, still got the stop.
Segrist wide open for 3. That was a good look.
She's got to take it. That's when the threes come in transition, when the defense is scrambling.
And look at St. John's. They are actually slowing things down. We didn't expect to see that. England for 2.
Now they're actually going underneath that screen. Raven James begging her to take that shot from the perimeter.
England has 10 points so far. St. John's with a 6-point lead here in the second quarter. Maddie Segrist, she's just gunning. From downtown is Nolan. That's Gedeka. The pace is really quickened here.
It has. They're pushing it. There's a lot of one-and-done shots.
What do you think about the last few shots by Maddie Segrist?
They're tough shots. I don't think they're great shots, but she's having a hard time getting open. Now, Harry Peretta is one of the best coaches in the country in terms of getting his top players shots. So she's going to probably get them. they might not be easy looks.
James, nice throw with the left, no good. Here comes England. Will anyone stop the ball? No, she is too tough. She's got 12 early on here in this first half.
The mid-range lost art. Tiana England showing all facets of her offense.
What a great adjustment, though. She was able to get all the way to the bucket early in that first quarter. Now that they went to the zone, she pulls up. And now here is a turnover by Villanova.
And St. John's starting to pull away here because they're doing their thing. They're making shots from the perimeter against the zone. And Tiana England showing a lot of different ways that she can score. And St. John's up here pretty big.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Brent Stover has some fun with the coaches of the Big East, plus a special tribute to Villanova head coach Harry Peretta, as well as other Big East scores. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. So Villanova, really the story of this one so far in this first half. They come in averaging 13 turnovers, but already 9 in this first half. Is that too many for you?
It is. It's too many. And when you give St. John's those opportunities, now they only have 4 points off the turnovers. So Villanova's lucky that they don't have more points off the turnovers right now. But you can't let them get out and run because the turnovers lead to transition buckets for St. John's.
Now early on, Villanova was in the man. St. John's scored 16 points in 6 minutes. So then Villanova switched to the zone. St. John's, as Noah, scored 11 points since, and they're figuring out ways to carve it up. There's England.
Yeah, she's been great.
That's Alston, yes!
So many different people that can step up and score on any given day for Joe Tartamella. She was the transfer from Ole Miss. She was going to play for Matt Insel there before he was let go there. Nice backdoor cut.
Seegers can't finish, but she does get fouled.
But St. John's with a little ball movement here against the zone. Several players touching the ball. How about the penetration once again? No look pass. Alston in rhythm from the perimeter. And she has been super tough, plays hard this season, and she's been shooting well from three.
And
52%.
How can you defend that, really? Because
you can't
St. John's was blowing by them in the man, then you put in a zone, and now they're going to shoot you out of it.
But Alston leads the Big East in three-pointers, and you've got to know that as your scout. Hey, I've got to lean towards her, not help off of whoever's penetrating.
Seegers knocks down both free throws, cuts into the lead. St. John's with a 9-point advantage, 2:45 to play here in the second quarter. St. John's spreading the floor here. Nolan up top, there's a three. And Seegers with another rebound. That is her 9th in this first half.
She's got a terrific nose for the ball. Long shots means long rebounds with misses, and she's always there.
St. John's in the tough man-to-man defense. That's Seegers with a turnaround, in and out, and she gets her own rebound, and she just sticks with it.
And that's a smart play by Maddie Seegers. She curled that screen to the basket rather than flying out. Good read and recognition.
Under 2 minutes to play now. Correa with a free throw jumper. She is just so smooth.
She doesn't play like a freshman, does she?
7 points for the freshman sensation. She has scored over 30 twice this season. She had 33 versus Army and 31 versus Fairfield. She has the capability to put up points in a hurry.
And Coach Tartamella said she could have had 40 in one of those had she not missed some easy layups.
And there's the steal by Correa. 2-on-1 for St. John's, but they blow it. Great defense to get back in transition by Villanova.
That could have been deadly, and you're right, excellent job getting back.
Peretta clearing things out, directing traffic for Villanova. Gideka with the clear out, and she's getting doubled now. Cross court to Segrist. Pump fake, gets into the lane, no. But there she is again with an offensive rebound and the putback.
She's super athletic. I mean, she has been getting second and third chances with her hustle and tenacity underneath. And Harry Peretta told us before the game, I didn't think Maddie would be this skilled as a freshman, but she's more skilled than he could have imagined.
Austin with a pump fake. And a tough rebound by Nolan. But there's the turnover for Villanova going the other way. And Segrist has 12 rebounds and 12 points, a double-double. We've got 25 seconds left here in this first quarter.
She's kept them in this game.
Second quarter.
Yeah, and she's kept them in it, hanging around here. St. John's has let them hang around.
Villanova going to sit on this one. 10 on the shot clock, 15 on the game clock. Gadeka. She's looking cross court, but instead she is blocked by Nolan. 1 second, and there's the shot clock.
Yeah, not a good possession. She was literally, Gadeka was parking herself in the corner, and that is not where you want to park yourself.
Well, it looked like she was eyeing Kenzie Gardler cross court, and she thought about getting it there, but then St. John's came with the double team and just smothered her.
Yeah, stare it down, they're going to find you.
2.9 seconds to go here in this first half. What's the play for St. John's?
I think St. John's has to get it in and push it pretty quickly. If they can get a baseball pass here, that would be helpful, but I wouldn't force it if it's not there. You don't want to turn it over here. Alyssa
Alston will inbound for St. John's. There's England, crosses half court, at the buzzer! What a first half for St. John's. England finished with 12 points. And that is the end of the half. St. John's is up 32-25. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network. Welcome back to Carnesecca Arena as St. John's leads Villanova 32-25. I'm John Schriffen, joined by my broadcast partner, Julianne Viani, former standout at Marist and a MAC Hall of Famer.
I did all right.
You had a great career, fantastic career, even better broadcaster, might I say. But we've got a great game here. Let's take a look at some of the game summary brought to you by AT&T. And really the story of this first half has been turnovers. Take a look at these numbers. Villanova comes in averaging just 13 turnovers for the game. They already have 11 in that first half.
Right, I mean, and that's been a problem for them. And the only reason they're in this game is because Maddie Segrist has a double-double at the half. She has been their lone bright spot because they haven't been able to get a lot of offensive action from anybody else or anywhere else. She is so good without the basketball. She moves well. She knows where to go. She sets herself up behind three-point range, and that's a part of her game that she has expanded in the offseason. She knows when to curl to the basket when she's being overplayed, so she hangs around the basket and scores. She did terrific in that first half.
Now St. John's was just on fire. Tiana England was getting to the paint early on. They switched to the zone, and she found ways to still score.
Yeah, it wasn't just her. It was multiple players. You saw England and Hoppy and Austin making shots, and of course the Frosh, Leilani Correa knocking them down, and they were really good at getting everybody involved, and that's something St. John's has been good at. They're a deep team. They got a lot of weapons this year, and it's difficult to really pinpoint one player to try to stop because so many players have offensive repertoires.
You know, it seemed like St. John's was so dominant in that first half, but we still only have a 7-point game. What is the key for Villanova to chip into that lead?
I think they've got to take it in increments. You try to win 2-minute increments, and then you go from there. Now, they don't. It's not like they're crawling out of a big hole here.
No.
I think, to me, St. John's allowed them to hang around. And let's be honest, two teams that have played good defense, 32 points and 25 points. Not a lot of offense from either team in the first half.
Harry Peretta told us if Villanova is going to win this game, they have to keep it in the 60s.
And he's right, so this favors his squad if he can get some offense outside of Maddie Segrist.
The zone already giving St. John's some problems. Alston no good from three. And the ball goes out of bounds to Villanova, so that's an early win for this Wildcat team.
And what the Wildcats have been able to do is force St. John's to score in ways they don't necessarily want to. They haven't been able to run the tempo up on them like crazy. They've taken a lot of outside shots. They haven't been able to get to the basket because of the zone. So it's actually been a pretty positive thing for Nova.
Gadeka, strong. Rebound goes to St. John's, and Gadeka will be called for the foul. Now that is her first foul. We've seen that a couple times. She's had some really good looks close to the basket, but just wasn't able to finish. England with the blow by, but stepped out of bounds. She is just so quick.
She is fiery with her first step. And we saw her go crazy in that first quarter, the first few minutes when Villanova was in man-to-man.
I didn't think they'd have an answer for her, but they were able to slow her down somewhat.
By committee and in the zone where you can hide defenders.
That's right.
That's usually the case.
Herlihy off back iron. Outlet pass. St. John's looks to push it, but they can't go anywhere with this zone.
Villanova doing a nice job transitioning back defensively.
St. John's with a good ball movement around the perimeter. Alston gets in, but now the kick out. England for three. Rebound.
But good defense.
Cameron Onken with the rebound for Villanova. Segrist the other way is blocked. Now the pace, now favoring St. John's. Alston thought about it.
You have to be very deliberate in this zone.
Nolan with the left is off. And Gadeka brings it the other way for Villanova. It's in and one. She kind of gave a little finally look. She finished in the paint there.
You see that frustrated face. Mary Gadeka having a hard time getting opportunities, but she saw the mismatch. Hey, I'm a lot bigger than I've got defensively. I've got a player in Tiana England on me who's smaller, great spin move down the middle. She feels the defense, knows which way to spin. She's probably their highest IQ player that Harry Peretta has this season.
There have been 3 mom-daughter duos who have played for Harry Peretta. Mary Gadeka is one of them. Her mother, Lisa Angelotti, played for Harry Peretta.
And she said this place has always been like a second home to me. She's been going to Villanova games forever.
Hoppy, swish from 3.
And her mother wanted her to go to St. Joe's. That's what's funny, another Big 5 school.
It is funny because Gadeka told us she always wanted to go to Villanova growing up, but it was her mom who played at Villanova who told her, why don't you look at some other schools? James, she answers from deep.
Now, if they can get a little bit of that out of Raven James, that is just a bonus. Now they cut this thing to 5 points. A good start for Villanova here in the second half.
You know, this one really feels like this is going to go down to the wire. No one's been able to get any kind of separation.
The style favors Villanova right now.
Indeed. Raven Farley out of bounds.
But see, the last few possessions, slow and methodical. They're forcing St. John's into the half-court game. That's exactly what Nova wants.
Villanova, their last lead was 6-5. They have been trailing ever since. That was Raven Farley, the LSU transfer for St. John's, with the miss on the other end. Maddie Segrist tries to get into the paint. She's double-teamed. Villanova fortunate just to get the ball back. Herlihy misses everything, and here comes the break for St. John's. No one stops ball. England with the right, and one. Are you serious?
Tiana England. What a player she has been in this game, and this is just coast to coast. She grabs the rebound. Nobody stops her like a train. All the way to the hole. I love it. A little mustard on that spin. Finishes with the contact, and she has been so focused from the jump ball.
14 points early on with the free throw. That makes 15. I'm not sure if Villanova expected that England would be the leading scorer so far.
How do you let her rebound and go the full length of the court without somebody picking her up?
She's that quick. What's Villanova going to answer with? Segrist with the curl. They don't find her. But she gets bumped down low. They're going to call a foul in the paint. Leilani Correa, that is her second foul for St. John's.
Correa here trying to fight over top of the screen.
Quick three by Segrist, and that rattles in. I mean, she doesn't need any space to get her shot off.
She gets off the floor really high. Maddie is very athletic.
15 points, 12 rebounds for Maddie Segrist. Now, Joe Tortorella telling his team they've got to come out a little higher in order to really penetrate the zone.
And there's times this year where his team's been a little inconsistent.
England with the cross, and the floater is good.
Tiana England, and I will quote Joe Tortorella here. He said, when we're bad, it's because she is not playing well, and when we're great, it's because she's playing well. So a lot really is centered upon how England wants to play on any given night.
She has 17 points, and Gadeka, she finally got the lid off the basket. It seems like she's trying to get things going for Villanova. It's a 5-point game.
St. John's losing their defensive assignments where they were focused in the first half.
I love Gadeka's intensity. She's calling out the plays on defense. Clearly the vocal leader for this Villanova squad. England, jumper. She had to miss at some point.
Yeah, you see Gadeka talking. Her mother's a coach. She's like a coach on the floor. She's their oldest player. Really, that's key.
There she is. They missed her on the curl. And now the turnover. Alston on the break. In and out.
Yeah, that's a foul on Maddie Segrist.
What a game we have here at Carnesecca Arena. St. John's on top by 5. We're coming right back. Welcome back here to Queens. St. John's leads Villanova 40-35. This is a good game. We also have another one coming up. Saturday at noon Eastern, women's college hoops returns with a matinee matchup between Providence Friars and the Creighton Blue Jays, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now, the Big East has some really good teams this year. Let's take a look at the standings. Take a look at some of the action we've seen. Here's Harry Peretta for Villanova, getting his team out of the huddle. 5-point game here. What does Villanova need to do to keep this one tight?
I think they've got to continue doing what they're doing. They're slowing this tempo down. They're keeping it in a half-court game, and they're keeping the scoring low. I think this is totally favoring Villanova. They're starting to get some scoring out of their big two, too, in the second half. Gadeka looks good, and they're being a little more aggressive.
Yeah, Maddie Segrist is clicking on all cylinders, and Gadeka is really getting going down low. The freshman, Correa, is off. Ball is batted out of bounds. It's going to stay here with St. John's.
Harry Peretta telling us he's coaching a little more loose this season because recruiting isn't hanging over his head. He's not worried about next year.
Oh, but he's still fired up.
But he's fired up, and he's enjoying the moments. It's funny because he is a big time. Every year you're thinking about next year. Think about next year. Now you can just enjoy this year.
Farley in low. And Villanova did a great job to corral that loose ball. That was Cameron Omkin on the deck. Herlihy bringing it up. St. John's is in man like they've been the entire game. Back door to Gadeka! She does finish.
I love her intensity, and she is so good without the ball, and she's reading the defense.
You can really feel she is about to get going for this Villanova squad. St. John's has missed their last 5 shots. The zone is starting to affect them.
And the defense of St. John's, they're losing players because Villanova's moving a lot.
England with the cross, the righty floater. And KB there to finish it up.
KB hasn't really gotten going, and she is one of their better players, too. Missed a few games out in Vegas with a shoulder injury, but she's been back playing well, but not 100% yet, Joe Tortorella told us.
She had 12 rebounds on Friday versus Georgetown, so there she is just cleaning up that offensive glass. James from downtown. Can Seegers get it? She saves it, but Farley is right there, and then she turns it over.
And now Villanova gets another 30 seconds here.
Gedeka, is she going to pull it out? No! Correa with the block.
Very surprised.
You know she's feeling it, though.
Yeah, I know. That's because typically she would have taken it out
right.
and killed the 30 seconds or 20 seconds out of the 30.
I'm not mad at it, though. I like her intensity.
I prefer it as a viewer.
Poppy with block. That shot was partially blocked, and Onken underneath. She brings it up with the left.
One thing Villanova's been knocked for is that slow basketball can sometimes be hard to watch because they kill the clock.
Oh, this one has not been hard to watch. This has been fun. Onken from deep. England underneath. She'll bring it up now. Correa, is she going to shoot it? Very quiet so far in the second half. Farley down low, off the glass, and good.
That's where the vulnerability is. I mean, she was wide open, and the rotation in the back line a little bit late.
At 6'4" out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, she is very hard to guard once she gets her spot in the low paint. Tonight at 8 Eastern, we are back with a brand new PBR season in the world's most famous arena. Don't miss the second night of the Monster Energy Bucking Battle at Madison Square Garden, right here on CBS Sports Network. Gedeka gets into the lane with the right and finishes again. Mary Gedeka has got it going for Villanova.
They're isolating her. They're bringing her to that high post area. She's turning and facing like a guard and taking it off the bounce. Excellent job from Harry's team.
Something happened in that locker room at the break because Mary now has 10 points here in this second half. And the block!
And Mary Gedeka is just more intense. She's looking for her shot.
You can feel how bad she wants this.
She's defensively altering shots. Great defense.
Poppy surveys the scene. Correa doesn't even look at the basket. Here's England. She'll take a shot in and out.
See, those missed shots were shots that St. John's was making a little more often in the first half.
You know, I've noticed this out of Correa, the freshman. She can be really hot, but at times she's a little too passive.
Yep.
She didn't even look at the basket on that possession. Gedeka again!
Gedeka's taking it. She's putting this team on her shoulders.
We knew it was going to be Mary Gedeka and Maddie Segrist, the big two for Villanova. They were the ones who were going to keep them in it. It's a 3-point game, 8 seconds left. Correa blocked. Gedeka with 4 on the clock, 2 on the clock. Segrist at the buzzer. Oh! Segrist nails it from downtown, and Villanova closes out the third quarter on a 7-0 run. We are all tied up at 44. Wow! What a way to close things out here in St. John's. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. Welcome back on the campus of St. John's as the Red Storm all knotted up with Villanova, 44 apiece, and it's really courtesy of Mary Gedeka coming back.
It's been the Mary Gedeka show. She is finding seams and getting in the lane. She's taking players off the bounce. They're isolating Gedeka. That's what they're doing. They're getting her the ball and they're putting her in positions to score, but defensively, she's bringing the energy, altering shots, playing with a lot of confidence.
And that's Mary's mom.
Is happy. She's got to be happy.
Lisa Angelotti, that is her former name. She's married to her husband, Ken. Now, interesting story. She was so close with head coach Harry Peretta that she introduced all of her boyfriends to Peretta.
I love it.
Now, when she introduced Ken, first date, he said, "Oh yeah, I approve," and they got married.
That is fantastic. I mean, I do think that that's the type of relationship that Harry Peretta has with his players. I even talked to Gino RM about things like that. I mean, that's the way coaches are. My former coach, same way. They got to approve.
Yeah. Well, they spend so much time together. You build that bond.
but Gadeka playing really well the second half. Mom's got to be proud.
Gadeka for three. Little heat check there. St. John's coming the other way.
Mary Gadeka's mom coached her a bit too, and was oftentimes, Harry told us, more her coach than a mother. Sometimes that relationship can get a little, my father coached me, so I get it, intense.
7 on the shot clock for St. John's. Hoppy finds Deja Bailey. She is trapped. They get the shot off, but no, does not hit iron. A shot clock violation. And Villanova really seems to have all the momentum. Now, in the first half, they had 11 turnovers. So far in the second half, just 1.
They've cleaned it up, John, and that's important. And I wonder when Joe Tartamella is going to throw on the full court press. He was pressing a little bit in the first half, not a ton in the second here.
Tied up at 44. Villanova's last lead was 6-5. Siegrist, can she get there? Yes! Villanova takes the lead, 46-44. Siegrist has 20 points on the afternoon.
And Nova's doing with fundamentally sound basketball. A little give and go there and movement. The help is a little late from St. John's. The more disciplined team will win this game.
England goes baseline. Alston gets into the lane but is blocked, and now they're going to say she is fouled by Gadeka.
Villanova doing a nice job moving the ball, and then Maddie Siegrist passes, and then she doesn't stay still. See how she moves once she passes it? It's a simple give and go. She cuts to space.
Correction.
That's why she fits in Harry Pretta's motion system.
Correction, that was a foul on Bridget Herlihy. Alston at the line, first one is off. Alston, 75% free throw shooter on the year. The redshirt senior out of New Haven, Connecticut. Second one is pure.
And Alston is, quote, a baller, according to her teammates, according to her coaching staff. She's a tough player, and she can turn it on at any moment. She can have a tough game and then play well at the end of the game. And not all players can do that, but Alston is one that is capable of that.
Well, Hoppy now, she's got the tough assignment on Siegrist. Siegrist wants it in the post. Herlihy with a cross court. They find Siegrist. Alkin for three, back iron, but Siegrist with the board, yes!
Siegrist has height on Hoppy. Hoppy is much smaller than her, and she knows it. And she's getting position underneath, boxing out, and getting second and third chance opportunities.
Now, I know we are home here at St. John's, but I just heard the Villanova crowd, a lot of people traveling from Villanova for support.
And Maddie Siegrist's family is from New York. She played at my former high school. A lot of people are here to watch this young lady play basketball because she's a tremendous talent. And my dad, actually, Al Vianney, coached her in high school, so I'm very familiar with her, her family, her development over the years. Since her freshman year of high school, she's one of those players that just has steadily gotten better every year. And I think was even under-recruited until she got to her junior year. Then she started blossoming as a player. All these coaches, all these teams looking to get her on their squad. Villanova came in under the radar a little bit and nabbed her. I think she's only going to keep getting better. But they did go to dinner at her grandmother's house locally last night.
10 minutes away.
Some New York connections.
Now, she did pick up her third foul, so Siegrist has 3.
They're overplaying.
Big time. Villanova with a 1-point lead here. Siegrist can't really get any kind of space. She's trying to establish a low post. Skip pass. Herlihy from deep just does draw iron. And ball goes out of bounds to St. John's.
Very good defensive possession from St. John's. Their key is focusing on getting rebounds. I mean, they have struggled today battling with Nova on the glass.
Well, Coach Tartamella really pacing the sideline because it seemed like St. John's really had control of this game, but in the last few minutes, Villanova is starting to pour it on.
It's because of tempo. We said that in the beginning of the game.
Correa with the left. Rebound of Villanova. And Karanji will bring it up. Olsen with the tight D up top. 15 on the shot clock. This is just what Villanova wants to do. Now under 10. Ball's down low to Herlihy, and it goes.
It's a nice finish. Bridget Herlihy posting up a little high-low action. Doesn't typically score a lot. She's more of a defensive player, so anything she adds is just a bonus.
And a timeout by St. John's. Villanova on a run. They are up by 3. We'll come back after the break. Welcome back as Villanova is on top of St. John's 50-47. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern, CBS Sports Network brings you some men's college hoops with a Patriot League matchup. The Colgate Raiders travel to West Point to take on the Army Black Knights, only on CBS Sports Network. Let's take a quick look at this matchup. Colgate is hot right now, 10-4. What do you like in this matchup?
Well, Colgate's also won 13 straight home games this year. That's a team that can play. Won the Patriot League last year, but now they're playing at Army, and if you've been to games at Army, it is never easy, and they play with a tenacity.
Now, we mentioned that Maddie played for your dad, and then here is Al Vianney in attendance.
Yeah, that's him, and he doesn't like it. I bet you he sees our screen right now. Oh, man, because he coached her. He was always a big fan of her. I played for him as well, not in high school, but in AAU, and I know for sure that he's taught her a lot of fundamentals. Now, she was just super athletic, and she's a workhorse. She worked hard, and she's become the kind of player that she is now. And then my sister was next to him, and it's the whole crew's here.
Everybody's here to support you. Correa
Hubby,
with the
family,
free
everybody.
throw jumper that was off. And Villanova with their biggest lead of the game at 3 right now. They're on a 13-3 run. They've got all the momentum. Herlihy in deep with the hesitation, and it goes.
Bridget Herlihy with a couple of big buckets here down the stretch when they've needed them.
Coretta told us we need other players other than Gadeka and Segrist to step up, and that's what he's getting.
In appropriate moments.
What a 3 to answer by Kwadasha Hoppy.
And boy, did they need that. Hoppy's been quiet in the second half.
2-point ball game. 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. We knew it was a slugfest, and it's going down to the wire.
We have not seen a lot of foul shots, have we? There have been very little fouls and penetration, really.
James was off. Hoppy with the rebound, and England will bring it up across half court. Trying to use that screen from Farley.
She's got that shot. She doesn't want to take it.
She should have, yeah. We've only seen 10 free throws in this game. So really, this has been a lot of action. England with the left. There's Farley with the big rebound, and one! Farley, the LSU transfer, playing in just her 5th game of the season. She had to sit out the early portion, and she is paying dividends.
And you've got to love the game we've got here. Both teams battling. You got Villanova down low. And you have the other teams at St. John's, Red Storm, penetrating and pitching, knocking down from distance. So we've got a really close game here. You couldn't have asked for a better Big East battle.
And don't forget about Farley. We are all tied up at 52 apiece. St. John's and Villanova from the Carnesecca Arena on, of all days, Lou Carnesecca's 95th birthday. Happy birthday, Coach. What a place to watch a game on a Sunday afternoon.
The legend. I mean, that's pretty amazing. 95 years old. Happy birthday, Lou. I mean, this has been a legendary place, an arena that has, well, they call it New York's team. And it's pretty impressive, the history behind this place, right?
It really
You're
is.
a New York native.
When I grew up watching Lou Carnesecca. I mean, this is the guy who really transformed the St. John's program,
yeah.
put them on the map, And then he's always been there in his sweaters.
Yeah, in his sweaters.
Sitting right behind the bench. I mean, that's the shot you always love to see at 95 years old. Happy birthday, Lou Comasecco.
Known for those sweaters, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he did. He's a New York icon. All tied up with 4 minutes to play here in Queens. A Big East battle between St. John's and Villanova. 8 on the shot clock. Mary Gadejka, no good.
St. John's has held her in check the last few minutes here.
Yeah, she had that little heat streak early on in the third quarter. It seemed like St. John's has made some adjustments on her. She has no points in the fourth quarter.
She could be also a little fatigued. And remember, Villanova hasn't subbed a ton.
That's a great point. And she was everywhere. She was blocking shots. She was cleaning up on the defensive glass. Villanova in this zone that they've been in since the first quarter. And Farley in close, rims out. St. John's has been using that 6'4" body a lot here in this fourth quarter.
They're using the shot clock, too. Oh, excuse me, Villanova's using the shot clock.
We got to pay attention now. It's at 8 seconds. Pumpkin goes lefty baseline. Gadejka! Back iron. Wow, they're going to say a jump ball. Raven James, pesky defender, got her hands in there.
I don't think Alston thought that James had it long enough, but the jump ball goes back to St. John's anyway.
Stays St. John's, but that was really quick tie-up. And she kind of came out of nowhere there.
Yeah, that was quick, and Raven James is a pretty feisty defender.
The junior out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Still knotted up at 52. We have 3 minutes to play now in this fourth quarter.
A battle, and the Big East has some parity this year. I mean, the first, of course, top couple teams in DePaul and Creighton, they're going to be tough to beat, but...
Poppy, no good. But the freshman sky's in. Correa, she is stripped. And of course, it's Gadejka around the ball. They're going to say jump ball with Gadejka and Farley, and Villanova has possession.
A player like Farley, who hasn't played a lot this season, mixing it up in there. I think she'll continue to get better for this squad as she goes.
You know, what an effort by both teams. We got to remember, they both also played on Friday. Villanova beat Seton Hall on Friday, 61-55.
And Harry was surprised at that win.
Yeah, that was a big win for them.
It was.
And then Friday, St. John's with a dominating win home here against Georgetown, 71-54. But they're showing it. They're leaving it all on the floor here just 2 days later.
And you think about it, John, with UConn coming back into the Big East next season, how much more credibility this league will have once again, playing against the top team in the nation.
Gadejka with her first points of the fourth quarter. She's got 14 on the afternoon. Katie is a little off balance. And Villanova will clean up the board with Cameron Onken. Wow, I'm not sure what that, I guess they called a carry? Don't see many of those called. Here's the last basket for Gadejka, high off the glass.
A nice job being assertive, putting it on the floor. She can certainly isolate herself.
It's almost like she heard us.
Yep. She's
no
playing
points,
with confidence.
No points in the fourth quarter. Here she comes.
Yeah,
and gets
here
a
she
bucket.
comes. Listen, she is that kind of player, though, that can take over a game if need be.
Mom is into this from the sideline with the blow by, but they're going to say no basket.
It's not the NBA.
England was fouled outside the arc.
Continuation, no, we don't have that here, do we? Tiana England, though, you look up, she is so quick. A blink of an eye and she's at the hole.
Third foul on Raven James. Poppy gets by and Alston. Up and under, a lot of contact, but no call. Herlihy with the defensive stand for Villanova.
Nice strength by Herlihy to get it out.
Villanova up by 2. 1:20 remaining here in the fourth. And Harry Perretta in his 42nd season is telling his team to slow things down. Gadeko, one-on-one. And Perretta didn't like what he saw, so he's going to call a timeout. This one's going down to the wire. 2-point game. Come on back with us. Welcome back. Both teams breaking the huddle. Villanova with a 2-point lead. All right, we've got a minute and change left to play. Let's take a look back at what your original keys to the game were. How have they played out?
Well, Villanova hasn't gotten bench points today. That has been a problem, but they are still in this game. And then the slow, deliberate tempo is what they have done well. St. John's hasn't done a bad job on the three-point land front, and they've forced Gadeka, I think, and Seegers into tough shots.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Gadeka's got to put it up. Oh, with the friendly roll.
That's a tough shot. Good defense and a better offensive execution.
Mom is loving it. Gadeka, no points in the fourth. And
limit her, Maddie Seegers. And listen, this is a tough leaning shot. Nice touch.
Here's the thing, though. That was out of a timeout, and nobody else touched the ball, so that was an ISO play for Gadeka.
It was, and you have to like Harry Peretta's play calling. If you are one of his girls, he's going to get you the ball. If you're an efficient shooter, you'll get a touch every time down the floor. So if you like that style of play and you're a good shooter, you're going to like playing for Harry.
You know, Joe Tartamella, head coach for St. John's, told us he was worried about this game. You know, you don't have much time to prepare for this style. And
you can't simulate it.
No, you really can't. And you can see Villanova is affecting this game because they're slowing it down.
Yep, and it's played right into their hands.
Under a minute to play here at Carnesecca Arena. And a travel on England. Villanova will get the ball.
And England here takes steps. Right there, she
dragged the pivot foot. She did. That's a great call.
And that's good defense. Excellent positioning from Raven James, blocking the baseline penetration.
What do you think about this timeout by Villanova? They get the ball up 4. What do you think he's
I like it because he's a coach that controls everything on offense. And so he calls timeouts to run a play, to draw it up. He makes sure the right players get it in their hands, their second and third options. I like the timeout.
So now what does St. John's have to do? They're down by 4, under a minute to play. What's the go-to here?
I think that they're going to have to start to foul here because Villanova is going to run 30 seconds off the clock here. So if you either let them run 30 seconds off the clock or 25 seconds off the clock, or you foul and make them beat you at the line. Now, I think St. John's will try to go for the steal first. You want to play that aggressive defense, go for the steal, and not necessarily foul. But be aggressive early in the shot clock here. No team fouls here. So there's been literally no fouling. So you're going to have to foul until you get up to that.
And here it is.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
The 5 fouls.
There's Farley with the foul.
Number 4, Raven Farley, that is her second.
Now that is her second foul, but it's just the first team foul. Now that was interesting though. They didn't even make a play on the ball.
Right, go for the steal.
Right.
Exactly. If you're going to foul, go for the steal. Maybe they won't call it, and you'll have a layup at the other end.
Let's see how aggressive St. John's here. Gadeka into the back court.
They need to stop the clock.
They're trying to foul her. They just tapped her. Refs are not calling it. Oh, a box out foul on Gadeka. But they didn't call it on her. They called it on St. John's. That was on England. That is her first. That's only 2 team fouls now. A weird sequence there.
Yep, it's been one of those clean games. Just 2 teams that have not been aggressive in terms of the fouling.
About 8 seconds ran off the clock there before St. John's could get the foul. Seegers with the ball, and she will be fouled by Hoppy. Now that is 3 team fouls. But still, with 3 fouls, we haven't seen them make a play for a steal once.
Exactly. You want to make sure you're face guarding players, getting deflections, trying to go for the steal. And then eventually you're going to put them on the line.
Pumpkin will inbound for Villanova. Now they're going to call a foul before the ball is even in bounds. They're going to say it was a hold on Alyssa Alston. So that's 4 team fouls now. Gadeka gets it, and there is the 5th team foul. Villanova will go to the line for 1-1. The foul was on Farley.
And traditionally a good free throw shooting team.
Gadeka goes to the line, shooting 69% on the year. 1-1. Excuse me, 2 fouls. Second shot is no good.
That was certainly played into Joe Tartamella's hands.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
Yep.
69% free throw shooter. They found her.
You're 2 possessions away here, or if you make a 3, you're only a point behind Villanova here. So that was big. And then you can foul immediately again. So if you're Joe Tartamella, you're drawing up a quick hitter. Penetration and pitch.
Exactly. And then you say quick hitter. Are you looking for a 3? Is it getting to the rim?
I don't think you look for a 3 unless you have a wide open shot and you're a good 3-point shooter. You take it. But you go for the 2, to me. Go for the better shot and then foul immediately.
Now, obviously, Tiana England has had the hot hand, but she's the one bringing the ball up. Do you look to her to get to the rim, or is she looking to distribute and get someone else involved?
Well, I think you can get to the rim, and then if you are covered, that's where you get someone else involved, because if the defense is going to collapse, you're going to have somebody available. So that's their best bet, because St. John's has so many players that can slice and dice, take you off the bounce, create stuff.
So St. John's is down by 4 with 44 seconds to play. They had the lead for most of this game, but here in this 4th quarter, Villanova really started applying the pressure, not just defensively, but really getting to the rim. Mary Gadeka got going, Maddie Seagrass got going, and the big 2 for Villanova are really the ones who provided them this kind of a lead.
What's interesting is going into this game, we talked to Harry Peretta and some of the other Villanova staff and such, and they said, we hope we stay in this game in terms of that's how much respect they have for St. John's as a program. And I always laugh at Harry Peretta because he's hard on his teams,
right,
and they always stay in games, but St. John's, the more talented team offensively. So I am impressed with the way that Villanova has scrunched this game down into their style. And it's not what I expected, especially playing them on St. John's home floor.
Now, there is a 14-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. If they score quickly, you don't necessarily need a foul. There's the quick bucket. Now, a 10-second differential. They can go for the steal. They looked for the travel, but they didn't call it. A chaotic sequence, and Harry Peretta sensed it, and there's the timeout by Villanova.
Yeah, and that's correct, and that's a really great point, John, is there is the differential in the shot clock, and now that they've scored, they can play straight up defense. They can go for the steal, not put him on the line right away. Yeah, but they need to get a good stop. That's what they need to do.
You know what was interesting, Peretta told us, yesterday when we saw him, he needed to keep this game under 60 points. And look where we are right now. This game is playing directly into his hands. He has the ball with up to 33 seconds to play.
Yep. They have certainly executed the game plan pretty soundly if you look back at this game and you're Harry Peretta, because they have slowed the tempo. They've played their style. They've gotten their 2 big players the ball, isolated them. It's been enough for them to stay in this game. And to me, Villanova's defense has also really been shored up in the second half, because this game has been a low-scoring game.
Now, if you're wondering who were the best free throw shooters for Villanova, Raven James shoots 79% on the season. Maddie Seagrass shoots 74% on the season. So those are the 2 you're really looking to get the ball in their hands of.
But they also need to try to score here, Villanova, for sure. You want to get the ball into those 2 players, but
taking a look at the Big East standings, St. John's is currently undefeated in conference play, 3-0.
And Creighton, probably one of the most well-rounded teams in the Big East. DePaul is the team to really watch out for. Definitely the best team in the league. One of the top scoring teams in the nation.
Something we got to pay attention to. Villanova has 4 seconds to get it across half court.
Yep, that's it.
Look at the pressure St. John's is applying to this inbounds.
And that was why Coach Peretta called that timeout too.
Well, now they just switched the in-grounder. They're going to give Bridget Herlihy the ball. She is 6'2", because she's being guarded by the 6'4" Farley.
And they've got to get it in.
Got to get it in. Here's the ball. There's the steal. St. John's with the bucket, and good. Tiana England ties it up at 56, and St. John's gets another steal. 25 seconds left. Shot clock is off. St. John's can hold for the final shot. And there's the timeout by Joe Tartamella. He wants to set up the final shot for St. John's.
What a sequence for the Red Storm. How about this for defense? Getting in the passing lanes. The steal from Tiana England, who's had a whale of a performance on both ends of the floor, but then the turnover from Villanova, just not using the IQ and throwing those lollipop slow passes against a very athletic team like St. John's. It's going to get picked off in a second. That was excellent pressure from St. John's.
Now, they only had 4 seconds to get it across the timeline, so they really had to throw it forward. But really, the key to that play was Raven Farley. At 6'4", she was guarding the inbounds, and you saw Villanova. They actually switched inbounders because she had such a presence disrupting the view. What a wild sequence. This one is not over yet.
I'm actually surprised we didn't see more of that full court pressure throughout the whole game from St. John's. I just think they could have done that throughout this game to try to speed the game up a bit.
We are all tied up at 56 apiece. 23.5 seconds remaining. St. John's is going to hold for the final shot.
At least that's what they should be doing here.
Tiana England has plenty of space. Raven James is giving it to her. 10 seconds to play. England gets into the lane. No! Hoppy with one chance at the buzzer. And we are going to overtime. I feel like that's exactly what this game deserves. Our score at the end of regulation, 56 apiece. We will be right back after these messages to begin overtime. What a ball game here at Carnesecca Arena. We are about to start overtime, all tied at 56, but let's take us through how we got here.
What a performance here. Alston with the penetration. Villanova was up 4. And then that basket made it 2, and then a steal and a basket made it. Well, this is when we tied it up.
Correct. And then St. John's called the timeout here. But it's a wild sequence because Villanova, like you said, was up by 4 with under a minute to play. And then St. John's just clamped down at the defense. I can't play this up strongly enough. Farley did not get the start. But here she is starting in the overtime period. The 6'4" junior out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, has really made an impact here down the stretch.
She's a stud, and she's one of those players that has to continue to keep getting better and play like a stud. She's way bigger than any of the girls on the floor.
It'll be Correa and Herlihy, and Herlihy wins the tap. Here we go to start overtime.
Now, I think the momentum is on St. John's end going into overtime here. The last few possessions.
Raven James slowing it down for Villanova. Maddie Sechrist, are they going to be able to find her? They don't even look her way. Herlihy in low finishes.
Herlihy had 7 points, and then that quick basket there, I think gives her around 9
She's got
right
9
now.
points right now.
That's big out of her.
They didn't even look at Maddie because they didn't need her on that possession.
Well, she can play 2 or 3 positions, so she's one of those players that he can stick anywhere.
England, who has been so tough all game, dribbling it up top. There's Farley. Kick out to England. Goes baseline. Alston.
And they didn't even
know that the shot clock had winded down. Someone had to take the shot.
I blame the bench. That's where your bench should be screaming on the sideline about the shot clock. Nobody was paying attention. And that's a...
And there were a couple of moments where they had a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
England had a shot. Alston had a shot.
That's just knowing
10th
the
turnover now for St. John's as they trail by 2. Villanova, very patient. Segrist hasn't even gotten a touch. That's James for 3. Onken gets the offensive rebound, and Villanova will eat up some more clock.
That's a big board. Onken, as a guard, you've got to be willing to rebound from the perimeter.
Peretta loves how Onken has been playing. It doesn't show up in the box score, but there's Gedeka. Once again, gets to the hole. She has 18 on the afternoon. Alston races down, but she's cut off. Poppy thought about it, and now she does pull the trigger. In and out.
Hey, she's open. That's just a shot you have to take.
But she hesitated.
She did. She had to take that in rhythm. It was down. But Villanova is absolutely taking their sweet time here.
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, this is where they were with under a minute. They're up by 4. What are they going to do now? Gedeka against Farley. The handoff. Oh. Gedeka for 3, and that misses everything.
And that's a bad possession. Nobody else touched the ball except for a second.
Alston, scoop, and finishes. And that's how quickly St. John's can come back.
So quick, because they can get it in transition.
Gedeka just admitted that was my bad, that last possession, and she's going to have a smarter one this time around. Maddie Segrist, they're trying to get her involved.
You don't want the ball to stick. That's the only problem.
And another turnover. Here's Hoppy going the other way with England. England double clutches. Finish.
You turn it over against St. John's, you might as well give them the game.
21 points for Tiana England, the junior out of Stamford, Connecticut.
What an energy bug she is.
Chance of defense here at Carnesecca Arena. 60 all. 5 on the shot clock, and Farley once again. She has been so clutch here, not only in the 4th, but now in overtime. 11 points.
Incredible. That's the way to recognize the mismatch and then command the basketball.
Excuse me, that was Herlihy.
Timeout called by St. John's.
Going a break with Villanova up by 2. We've got a minute and change left. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back. Villanova with a 2-point lead with 1:07 to play in overtime. And Bridget Herlihy, the senior out of Braintree, Mass, has been taken over.
She's been sensational. She's recognizing mismatches, and she is commanding the basketball. And this is just a nice job putting her butt into the defense. Hoppy a little smaller than her, and she just picking the right side to turn with the drop step. She's been phenomenal because they needed that 3rd player to step up today, and she has been 5 of 8. She's not taking a lot of shots, but the shots she's taking, she's making, and in pivotal moments in the game where they've needed.
Well, it's been big because, as we've seen, St. John's has been keying in on Maddie Segrist. She really can't even get open, not even get a shot. She can't even get a touch on the ball. So it's been big that players like Bridget Herlihy have been stepping up and trying to give her some support.
And Herlihy really didn't play a ton in the Providence game because of matchup issues, but she is a versatile player. Hasn't been real consistent throughout the year, but she has games where she can put up some numbers. So it's really a pivotal game that she's picked.
So if you're in that St. John's timeout, you're down by 2 with 1:07 to play, what's the strategy here?
Well, I think the strategy is clearly, if you're on offense here, you've got to score. I mean, you have to run a quick hitter where you're able to get multiple touches on the basketball. But like I said before we went into overtime, get it to Tiana England. Let Tiana England do her thing. She's been tremendous on the offensive end of the floor, because if she's not scoring at the rim, she's looking to kick and to get other teammates involved. So I'm getting her the basketball and letting her, spreading the floor out, and letting her do her thing here.
I think that's the most impressive thing about England today is that she's made such great decisions. You know, early on when they were in man, she was blowing by people. She adjusted her game when they went into zone, and she's still been as effective.
And Joe Teague trusts her.
The junior from Stamford, Connecticut. Hands off to Hoppy with the pull-up. But Correa with the rebound, can't get it to go. And they're going to call a jump ball. Possession stays here with St. John's, but they had a lot of good looks there.
They did. They had the opportunity, and then on the offensive rebound, Correa could not finish it.
And Cameron Unkin, once again, she's just around the ball, doing the little things for this Villanova squad.
And she's been fun to watch. Very impressive. She gets the Hustle Award today.
For sure. That was my award back in my playing days. It wasn't the best, but I'll give you the effort, right?
I love it. They're my favorite players, the blue-collar players. You don't get all the numbers, you don't get all the pizzazz, but...
You want that win. Farley in deep, and she provides the answer. We are tied up at 62 with 35 seconds to play. About a 10-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Harry Peretta telling Gadeka, relax, no rush. We've got 10 on the shot clock. Gadeka from deep, yes! 21 on the afternoon for the senior. And we have a timeout on the floor. Her mom can't even watch. This is priceless.
She has played terrific, and that could not have gone better for Villanova. They took a lot of time off the clock. They took their time, and a perfect little kick out, and Mom loving it. Coach Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Former Villanova star herself. Oh, her daughter can ball. It's in the blood.
You know what's funny is that when we talked to Mary, she said, you gotta watch my mom. She's so
passionate.
into games. She said, I love the support from my mom, but she said, please, just make sure you watch her during the game. You'll love it too.
And you know what's funny is Harry told us that Mary plays a lot like her mom when her mom played the game. That aggressiveness, versatility. And you've got to love your senior taking over this game. That's what you need out of your senior. And she's really the only one with that kind of experience. And so does Bridget Herlihy, notice. Notice those two have really come up big here down the stretch.
Let's talk a little strategy, because this is a key moment here. Villanova's up by 3 with only 14 seconds left. Do you foul, or do you give St. John's the opportunity to tie it with a 3?
No, I don't necessarily think. I think a foul is smart. You can do that. That is an option here. But if you don't want to do that, you can switch everything behind the arc. Just not allow a 3. That's really what it comes down to, is you cannot allow a 3. They did add a little time to the clock here, that's why the refs were over there, making sure there was enough time. But
how about this stat? Mary Gadeka had 2 points in the first half. She now has 21 total points, 19 points after the half. She is just pouring it on.
Villanova's got 4 fouls here, so they do have another one to give.
Here we go. Hoppy. 10 seconds to play. Katie for 3. Back iron, no good. James with a rebound. And she does get fouled.
See, I think St. John's could have gone for the 2 and then fouled. They went for the 3.
It looked like that was what they drew up.
Yep, and Villanova switched it. Exactly as I kind of said, is you could either foul immediately. She had the open look, and
interesting they gave Katie the shot there. She's a 27% three-point shooter on the season. There are other stronger shooters out there, but it looked like they drew it up for her. Now James goes to the line.
She's a senior.
And she nails it. That's the big one. Villanova up by 4 with 3.4 seconds remaining. The senior the junior knocks them both. Villanova has their largest lead of the game. At the buzzer, no good, but it doesn't matter. Villanova with a huge win in overtime, 67-62. What a game here at Carnesecca Arena. We're going to go to break really quick, but we will back for the postgame after this.
And we didn't turn the ball.
Not in the second half.
We got shots at the basket. That was the key.
Thrilling overtime win. Villanova wins it 67-62. Let's go to our Julianne Vianney with a post-game with the stars of the show.
All right, Coach. I got Harry Peretta here, and of course, Mary Gadeka. I'll get to you in just a second. And what a thrilling game this was. You told us, Coach, before the game that you were hoping this would be close, and you guys pulled it out in double overtime. What happened here in the second half?
Well, we stopped turning the ball over for one, and we got shots at the basket, and we made them. I mean, it really boils down to, can you put the ball in the basket? And when teams help like that, our other kids are going to get open shots, and if they knock them down, we'll be in the game.
Talk about the importance of your other players stepping up today.
Again, Bridget Herlihy steps up today. We post her. She scores the ball a couple times. Raven makes the 2 foul shots at the end. But, you know, it boils down to Mary and Maddie. Can they force the other team to either double us, or if they don't double us, can they score the ball one-on-one, which Mary did. Mary scored the ball one-on-one when they didn't double, and when they did double, she passed the ball. So, I mean, it sounds simple. It's a lot harder than that, but when you have a good player, that's what you try to do.
You talk about Mary's leadership ability as a senior this season with some other younger players. How important is that ability to take over a game like she did here today?
Well, it's what we want her to do. I mean, you know, she can take the ball off the dribble better than Maddie. Maddie shoots it from the perimeter a little better, but Mary's a lot quicker off the dribble. So she had to just come out and play. And it showed me a lot today when she missed the 2 foul shots, the game went overtime, then she makes the 3. She wasn't afraid to shoot it in overtime. She makes the layup, and she makes the 3. So that shows real leadership ability.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Congrats on the win. And Mary, you had a tremendous performance today. Your second half, something happened, a light bulb turned on with you. What was it that caused your assertiveness in the second half?
Yeah, first half I was definitely not hitting the shots that I usually hit, but I have to attribute all of it to my teammates. You know, in the halftime talk, even coming out of the second half, they're like, you got this, you know, you're getting to your flow, and we got it. We're going to pick up this game, because we had a lot of turnovers to begin with. So I have to give all the credit from 1 through 15. My teammates were unbelievable today, and it really showed through that overtime win.
How pivotal was controlling the tempo today? St. John's comes into this game, they want to run and gun and play fast. You want to slow it down. How did you do that in the second half?
I think really just staying in our offense. I think in the beginning of the game, first half especially, we were forcing things, and that showed in our turnovers. But I think the second half, we got that breather at halftime and really came in, you know what, we can win this game. And we might be a younger team, maybe not as skilled and athletic as they are, but just staying in our offense really helped us today, and I'm so proud of everybody.
Congratulations, great win.
Thank you so much.
John.
What a performance by Villanova Wildcats. They hand St. John's their first loss of the season here at home. Let's take a look at the updated standings in the Big East, and wow, we have got a 5-way tie at the top. Villanova moves to first place in the Big East with back-to-back wins. They beat Seton Hall on Friday. They beat St. John's here today. And really, it was Maddie Segrist who had 22 points, a career-high 15 rebounds, and then Mary Gadeka with 21 points. What a performance by both of them.
You gotta love the way that the two best offensive players stepped up here and how Villanova controlled the tempo. What a performance by them.
Our final score, 67-62 in overtime. Villanova wins. For Julianne Vianney and our entire CBS crew, I'm John Schriffen. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. After the break, we'll send you to Men of March, Bruce Pearl.